What happens when one country tries to sell another country something it doesn't want? And when they say no, the seller turns up with cannons. No, we're not talking about anything happening right now. Not even metaphorically. No siree. Nuh-uh. No way. This is a history channel. We only talk about old disasters. We're talking about what was probably history's worst ever business opportunity. The Opium Wars. A time when two gigantic empires looked at each other, tried to do some trade, and then one side ended up getting completely wasted. Economically, politically, militarily, and literally. On one side, you've got Imperial-era Britain, an industrial superpower with a virtually unbeatable global navy, and a national pastime of showing up somewhere uninvited and saying, "This is mine! This is also mine! No backsies!" Britain thought it was better than everyone else because it had invaded pretty much everywhere else. On the other side, you've got Qing China, basically a filing system pretending to be a civilization, run by a tight hierarchy and a bureaucracy so vast it had bureaucrats doing bureaucracy about the bureaucracy, who would then file their bureaucracy in triplicate with other bureaucrats. Qing China thought it was better than everyone else because it was enormous, ancient, and extremely unimpressed with the rest of the world.
We're the best kingdom in the world.
That's charming, old chap. Wherever our boats are, it's ours kingdom. The Qing court's foreign relations were shaped by a set of ritual and heavily controlled rules so specific they had rules about the rules. Britain hated hierarchy so much, they spent the next century perfecting it. They always treated countries like equals, right until they wanted to own those other countries. British diplomacy was about formal equality in the same way a lion and a zebra are equal because they both live in the jungle. So, when British envoys asked for what they thought were normal diplomatic and commercial arrangements, the Qing side heard, a barbarian is requesting special treatment. When Qing officials insisted on following their own ritual order, Britain heard, these guys think they're better than us. Hello, chaps. We'd very much like improved trade terms. Great. Do the respectful ritual and we'll see what we can do. No problem. What is that then? Shang Taiman Shanshi Yishi! So, lying on the floor like a worm, then, eh? Yes, like a respectful worm. But, sir, we've been sailing for 6 months, and we ran out of limes 3 months ago. So? Scurvy, old chap. Weak knees. Then use them. So, by the time the big problems start, there's already a backlog of mutual irritation. Both sides are convinced they're the normal one. Normal in the 19th century meaning disease, sepsis, building empires, a lot of casual racism, but Britain's obsessed with Chinese goods. They loved silk, porcelain, and tea. Come to think of it, it was mostly tea, and anything to do with tea. Tea wasn't just a drink to the Brits, it was more a coping mechanism. We're under attack! Order, sir! Let's have a cup of tea. 1 lump or 2, sir? 3, of course. Righto, let's go see what's with this blasted battle. China is happy to sell them all the tea in, well, you know where. But China, at that time, didn't really want any British stuff. China wanted silver, but Britain had so little silver, it was having to use gold instead. Using silver to pay for tea made the national addiction pretty expensive. Britain had to cut back, but that was a bigger problem. Sir, you need to cut back on tea. I don't see why. I can stop whenever I want. But you're drinking it right now. That's because it's morning, but it's just gone midnight. Like I said, the morning, but it's making you sick. But do you know what will make me feel better? I think I know what you're going to suggest. A nice hot cup of tea. Would you like a cup? Please. So, Britain needs to find something China will buy in huge quantities. Britain's merchants and imperial administrators look around the empire, spot India, and go, yes, a solution. Opium. Now, opium has long existed as a substance with medical and other uses. It's a pretty good painkiller, and back in the 19th century, you could buy it from a department store for a toothache. The people of Qing China, it turns out, like opium even more than the Brits like tea, if such a thing is even possible. Got any, leaves? I'm fine. I just need a kettle. Suddenly, they're on the receiving end of a massive drug trade that's causing widespread addiction and a growing social and political crisis. The The Chinese with the opium, that is. People are getting addicted to opium. That's bad. Write a memo. Find someone to write 2 memos. Find someone to write 3 memos and an affidavit. The Qing state tries bans, crackdowns, and moral campaigns. And it gets messy. Meanwhile, Britain's doing something it did well, coming up with justifications for being complete bastards. We're just doing trade. You're just selling drugs. Yes, trade drugs, with lots and lots of trade paperwork. The more China pushes back against these trade drugs, the more Britain starts to say China's in need of being opened up. And we know what Imperial Britain meant when they said opened up. Which brings us to Commissioner Lin Zexu, a man who was the human embodiment of taking no shit. It was his job to sort out the whole opium mess. So, he did what every good bureaucrat does when he's furious about something. He wrote a very strongly worded letter. It starts off nicely. We know that your country strictly prohibits opium, showing you understand its harm to people. Therefore, you should not allow this harmful drug to be transferred to other countries. China exports many beneficial products like tea. Tea! In contrast, the items you export to us, well, we can do without them. Oh, what? Well, any foreigner bringing opium to China for sale will face decapitation, while accessories will be strangled. All related property will be confiscated. A grace period of 1.5 years is given for those who voluntarily surrender any opium they bring mistakenly. So, no more tea then? On reading the letter, Queen Victoria was shocked. OMG! I'm shocked! Nah, don't be silly. She doesn't even get to see the letter, which is maybe the most British thing in the whole story. We've run out of tea! Her advisors intercepted the letter, and it went straight into the handled folder, which is British for trash. Lin was not impressed. For a second, he thought about writing another, even more strongly worded letter. Then he decided to do something radical. All right, hand over the opium. What opium? That opium. Okay. Just give it to him. But that's all our money. Yes, and if we don't, we'll be decapitated. Or worse. Worse than being decapitated? Yes, admin. Lin tightened the screws, applied pressure, and forced merchants to surrender an enormous amount of drugs. And then, with no thought to the amount of paperwork involved, my hero! He destroys it all by digging big pits on the beach, mixing the opium with salt and lime and letting the slop wash away. Man, this is my favorite sea. I love how it's purple, green, and then even more purple. There, problem solved. The truth is, a lot of people understood the moral issue perfectly well, or at least well enough for a time when it was morally okay to sell your 13-year-old wife at the market and stuff kids up chimneys. Could we maybe not sell them drugs? What? I just thought, hang him! That wasn't ever going to happen. And this is where it all stops being about drugs and trade and becomes a clash of sovereignty, prestige, and who gets to set the rules. Also known to the Victorians as, who has the biggest guns. The Chinese kicked off by doing a ton more bureaucrating. It ruins families, drains money, and weakens the state. So, it's a state security threat? Yes. So you plan to stop it? We're trying. How? We've written many documents, and many more are on the way. That'll teach them. Britain decides it's time for the ultimate diplomatic tool. Those massive, massive guns. The first Opium War starts, and Qing China's about to learn that steam-powered ships with heavy artillery attached to them don't care about paperwork. We have writs and edicts! We have cannons! But we have a lot of writs and edicts! We have... Please, write this down and send it to the Qing commander. Dear sir, we regret to inform you that we have lots of cannons. Big cannons. Britain strikes hard with those big cannons, and the Qing state struggles to respond. There's only so many letters you can write. To be fair, the Qing forces fought as hard as they could, and hurt the British now and again. But the mismatch was brutal. Back in Blighty, the politics are a weird cocktail of trade interests, imperial pride, and the idea of national honor. All a cover so nobody has to admit that basically they're peddling so many illegal drugs that Pablo Escobar might have called it a bit excessive. But not every Brit was happy. Are we seriously going to war over opium? We're going to war over property, rights, national honor, and the sanctity of commerce. So, opium then? Okay, yes, it's opium, but it's our opium. Eventually, after fighting and pressure, China was forced toward a settlement in 1842 called the Treaty of Nanking. Alright, let's break this treaty down to make it as simple as humanly possible. It went a little bit like this. Here are the terms. We reject your terms. No, you don't. Fine, what do you want? Money, of course. More open trade. Fine. And we get to keep Hong Kong. Okay, that seems perfectly Wait, what? We're Britain. We collect places. It's sort of a hobby. Or we can go get our big... The treaty ends the war, and everything's fair and equitable, if you're British. Okay, we'll just take this island. Why? Because we want to. That's not a reason. It's the only reason we've ever needed until now. But the treaty doesn't just end fighting. It changes everything. Britain now expects written treaty relations and expanded commercial rights. The Qing court, meanwhile, has just agreed to all of this at cannon point, and now it has to explain it to everyone in China without saying the words, "We got our asses kicked." Good news, Your Majesty! We've achieved peace! Brilliant! How did you manage that? There was one small compromise. How small a compromise? How small is Hong Kong? Now, let's go back to the ports, where things can get stressful pretty quickly. Foreign merchants want more access. Qing officials want to look like they're still the boss, but they aren't. And every time they try to be, the memory of those massive cannons is dangled over the Chinese like that Greek sword thing. Damocles. Exactly. Stop! I have a form! Come back! Your signature's required! Meanwhile, policy debates continue in Britain about China. Not in the sense of, should we stop, of course. It's more like, we need better access. We've already forced a big treaty and got Hong Kong. Yeah, I get that, but I wondered, would you chaps be so good as to force another treaty for us? But a bit harder? That seems excessive. Excessive is my middle name. Really? I don't believe you. Hey, give that back. See? Inside China, there's a sort of bureaucratic war going on. Factions are arguing about how to handle the British, all while trying to look like they already have, so their people won't know they aren't perfect. We must strengthen the state. We must punish everyone. We must regulate the trade to control it. How dare you? How dare you? How dare all of you? Did you get all that? So it's all a bit of a simmering kettle. Do as we say or else is not exactly the foundation of trust, which is why the next spark hits like a match on a barrel of gunpowder. Fast forward to the 1850s. Now strap in, because historically, this is one of those moments where you read it and think, now you've taken it too far. The Arrow Incident. It starts with a local viceroy called Ye. No, not that Ye. Ye Mingcheng. He was sure that the ship in his dock was a pirate ship. We cease this pirate ship in the name of the Emperor. It's not a pirate ship, it's ours. No, it isn't. Arrest the crew. You violated the British flag! That ship isn't British. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. The thing is, well, yes, it really is British. Why Ye thought it wasn't, we have no idea. I mean, it was previously a Chinese-owned ship, had a Chinese crew, operated in local waters, and had previously been used by pirates. But other than that, no idea. But Ye, you see, had passed all the big civil service examinations, including the ones for the elites. He was never wrong. He also didn't like the foreigners getting off the dock and causing trouble in the city. And that annoyed the Brits, who wanted to have a good time, and maybe a go at the old opium thing. But Ye also liked to execute the odd pirate here and there. And by odd, I mean a few thousand. Hey, give them back! Nope. And now you've taken down the Union Jack! How dare you! No, we didn't. Well, I'm going to say you did. And what will that do exactly? War! Well, that escalated quickly. France, who has been after a piece of the action all the time, joins in. You decapitated our missionary! We decapitate a lot of people. But he was already dead! You crushed him by hanging him in a tiny cage from the prison gate. And then we decapitated him. And then you hung his head from a tree! Well, we had to make sure. He was a man of God! A man of France! Don't you care about religious freedom? Don't you care about France? No, not really. Oh, bon Dieu! Saucisson! Escargot! Donc les oranges croissants! Prepare the boats! So again, Europe uses big cannons. China tries paperwork. But every time the Chinese think it's over, the Europeans find another reason to demand more. They want more privileges. What? We've already dropped taxes and let their weird religion go up the Yangtze River. What do they want now? They want to be allowed to enslave the people enslaved and take them to somewhere called America. Hard workers? Thanks, son. You're not bad yourself. No, they're called hard workers. That's illegal. Say no. If we say no, they shoot us with those cannons. Okay, say no politely. This all led to the Treaty of Tientsin in 1858 and the Convention of Peking in 1860 China, where the Europeans basically got everything they wanted. The opium, the Catholic missionaries, the Yangtze River trips, even the hard workers started to flow. And on top of all that, China had to pay massive amounts of cash. I'm surprised it wasn't more tea, frankly, to Britain and France. It was a surrender. Europe moved in, unpacked its bags, and started rearranging the furniture. The Chinese later called the following century the century of humiliation. Can we please not do this again? It's pretty humiliating. We'll see. That's not reassuring. It's not meant to be. Just behave for 100 years or so, and we'll see what's what. Zut alors! Sacré bleu! Ouh la la! Excusez-moi. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? So, what did the Opium Wars actually do, besides making everyone miserable who wasn't drinking tea? They reshaped power. They cemented the idea that might is right. They influenced how people thought about addiction and social breakdown. They left a massive scar on China, a sense that their sovereignty could be violated and that the international order was something imposed, not negotiated. And like I said before, this is all history. It has nothing to do with and no parallels to anything going on right now at all. And that's why the Opium Wars linger in history, as a reminder that free trade is a lovely phrase right up until it's taped to a cannon. Now, a final montage, because if we don't have a final montage, bureaucracy wins. Tea. Stop leaving! I love you! I have a solution. Is it moral? No. Approved. We're rich! No! Yes! Write a memorial! About what? About how we're doomed! How long should it be? Longer. Flag! Not flag! War! Comme ci, comme ça! Chacun ses goûts! Qui va à la chasse perd sa place! Sacré bleu! And that's the Opium Wars. Excuse me, did you get all that? What? You said you needed it for a report? Oh, yes.